Hello, everybody.
Welcome back to another episode of Mondays Are For the Nerds, your nerdy news podcast. I'm your co-host, Jay Wright.
And I'm your other co-host, Tristan Stump.
Thank you for joining us this week as we recap your nerdy news that happened this week. How have you been?
Been all right. How about you?
Pretty good. Tired.
Yeah, me too. Same. Specifically, the last couple days I've been tired because I've not gotten a lot of sleep. I've worked early shifts for work. I hadn't done that for like the last however many weeks when I quit my other job.
Yeah.
And so, yeah. So it's been...
You got to get back in the routine.
Yeah. So I've just been kind of tired, but you know, good week. I got the last of my Christmas gifts in earlier in the week, so everything is wrapped in another tree except for one thing.
Yes.
I'm going to wrap after this. So,
guys, I'm going to try speaking a little bit louder on the mention of Christmas gifts this week.
Oh, yeah, on the mention, Jay might be a little more screamy than normal.
Yeah. Someone called me out. No, I'm just kidding. I got one of the best Christmas presents I ever got from you last night.
Yeah.
Should we say what it is?
We can say, we don't have to talk about it extensively.
Yeah,
we can say what it is. So
he got anyone who knows what a cameo is out there. For those of you who don't, you can pay a certain amount and get like a celebrity on the app to do like a personalized video, whether it be happy birthdays or like Christmas or something like that. Just congratulations. Somebody got me one from Spencer from Smosh, and it was like a minute longer than what it usually is. Usually does.
Yeah, I mean, not that it's unexpected because it says the average video length was like 2 minutes, but it was like almost 4.
Yeah,
and so anyway,
and in the process, somebody had him call me out on speaking up louder on the microphone, which I have actively been trying to do.
And so I had meant to mark it as roast, but it got marked as Happy Holidays. I was like, you know what, that's fine, because it was like.
That's even better.
Yeah, because he roasted you anyway. So
yeah, he also roasted your name.
Oh yeah, he absolutely roasted my name. Yeah, because I marked it as from Stumpy instead of from Tristan. And so
he went on a classic. If you've seen Spencer on Smosh, a classic Spencer Cyclist where he's watching and he goes, first off, great name.
Yeah, just love it. Hilarious nickname.
Yeah,
it's like nice.
Anyway, one of the best Christmas presents I've ever gotten. I've seen it. I've watched it like 20, 30 times, over and over again.
It was just so funny because we went to watch something that we're going to talk about later.
Yeah.
And he was talking about how Ben Schwartz had liked one of his tweets. And he goes, a famous person just at least somewhat knows who I am, so I can die happy. And I'm thinking like, just you wait.
Just you wait till after.
So, yeah.
Oh, and as you said Christmas gifts, I'm like, I have to bring that up.
It was, I need to go on there and leave a review for it.
Yeah.
Because you like leave reviews and stuff. And I need to say, it's like it's better than I could have even.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely hoped for. It was great.
It's so good. I loved it so much. I will continue to watch it every time when I go to sleep.
Anyway,
what else were you going to say? I sidetracked you. This is an aside.
I mean, we were kind of slid into small talk, but like that's pretty much what I did this week is Christmas gifts, and I didn't get to play games a whole lot because I was just kind of like focusing on getting ready for the holidays.
Did you ever figure out if your PS5 was working?
I played on it for a couple hours and it didn't do anything, so it seems fine. I've been watching a lot more Big Bang Theory recently. Because one thing I did do this week is I got a Lego set that I'd been wanting for a while. So every night I'd get home from work and I would build 3 bags. I did 3 bags, 2 bags, 2 bags. And because it was 13.
That's like your background?
Yeah.
Background show.
And so Big Bang Theory became my background show as I was building it. Yeah. So I'd been watching that, going back through memory lane with the times I have binge watched it. I don't know if anyone else, they binge watch shows, but it's like at a specific time. So when you watch it again, you like think about the last time you binge watched this show.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm like going through Big Bang Theory. I'm like, I miss my
You forget. Yeah. I'll do that with like movies where I'm like, I haven't seen these since it was in theaters, but it had enough of an impact where I'm like, I love this so much. And like just rewatching, I'm like, better times.
Yep.
Better times.
Another thing I did this week was, or I say this week, it was like, last week, but we said last week we recorded an episode early.
Yeah.
I did watch Lord of the Rings, Lord of the Rohirrim. I've been saying it wrong this whole time.
I've been hearing it wrong everywhere.
Do so good. For those who either this is their first listening episode and they absolutely do not know, it was a recent anime film based on the Lord of the Rings mythos.
Yeah.
And it actually, I did not go in knowing what it was the backstory for, and it's actually kind of cool, like really, really cool. I almost don't want to say it because I don't know if you plan on watching it because it is an
maybe
anime
eventually.
film. But
Yeah.
my dad watched it with me, his first anime
Mm-hmm.
watching since like the first
kid.
time he watched Speed Racer and decided anime wasn't for him or whatever he was watching. It might have been Dragon Ball or something. Speed Racer
Yeah.
was like the 60s, but it
Yeah.
it reran in his.
Yeah.
Anyway, but it was so good, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like one of my favorite movies I've watched this year. The voice acting was excellent. The animation for the combat was just absolutely awesome.
Yeah.
Like
That's one thing. As someone who hasn't seen anime, that's what I've heard. Not just from you, but from everyone else.
just
where it's
from
like
everyone.
The combat
the combat was
is
so
like
good.
in anything, any anime. It's just
Any anime, the budget goes into
Over
the
the top.
combat.
Yeah.
If it is a like,
Yeah.
because most of the time, I mean, you've seen some clips. The
Yeah.
animation's
Yeah.
not so. And obviously, with a film, the animation's going to be better across the board because they've gotten a bigger budget, and especially this one, it's backed by New Line and Warner Brothers, and
Yeah,
you know
and it's
all
a
the
big
different.
IP.
It's in a big IP. But it's usually, with talking and stuff, it's going to be a lot of limited movement. And if they're cooking or fighting, it's going to be the most beautiful thing you've ever seen.
That's whatever.
And so the
Okay.
combat with this was just so good. And the characters were, I don't know, likable's not the right word because there's some characters you're not supposed to like.
Yeah.
But definitely characters that were fun to watch and see their story arcs and just the hints and bits and pieces at Lord of the Rings.
The Easter
Because it's
eggs.
set like 200 years before Fellowship of the Ring.
Mm-hmm.
So there's some Easter eggs for that, but not too much because this is definitely like a smaller scale story.
Yeah.
It's like
not
one of those
supposed to lead
ones
to like a big trilogy.
Yeah, it's not supposed to lead to a big thing. It was just it's a war between two factions and the results thereof, and it's just so good.
Did it have the three-tusked elephant?
It's four tusks actually.
Four-tusked elephant?
Yeah,
That's
The-
what
the-
that's the only
I
thing
can't remember
remember
what
from
they
it.
call them. I know them as war elephants, but I don't think that's right. But there is a scene with one. Yes.
Good. I haven't seen the. I just know of like from the posters and like the trailer I've seen.
Yeah.
It's like the war elephants.
And it's very it's so good.
Good.
I know I keep saying so. I'm trying to think of like a number to rank it, and I almost want to say it's a 10 out of 10.
Well, it's like my system where it's like there's so good, which is like
Yeah,
top tier,
top tier, and it's top tier.
or then there's awesome.
Like in lieu, like if I were to give it a number, I might give it a 10.
Mm-hmm.
Not that it's a perfect film, but it is a really, really good film that I feel like it's a like I would be having to nitpick to give it anything lower than a 9 or a 10, but it's definitely, I mean, the combat, man, was so good. And I mean, there was only 2 times that the animation ever looked weird. It's the very beginning, and then it kind of like, it just gets mellows out.
Yeah.
And it's just... So I watched that. It was very
Nice.
good. Obviously, I can't get into spoilers because it just
just
came out. Like I said, it's the backstories of some of the things that it sets up. I was like Dad and I were talking about that afterwards. We were like, "Holy crap, that's like really cool." It is.
Yeah.
And who knows if this is something they made up. Because they're doing that with Rings of Power, where it's like kind of pulling from,
But also its own thing.
But it's also its own thing because there's the Lord of the Rings books, there's the Hobbit, and then there's another book that's like
I almost said Tattered Melon. It's not it.
no,
The
it's a compilation of a bunch of like short stories set within Middle Earth.
yeah, and it's like a weird one long word.
Not
long word, but like.
But anyway, if I remember correctly. And all like the because I'm a Lord of the Rings fan, but like the people who are like Lord of the Rings fanatics are like probably going to be foaming at the mouth when I'm saying it because I'm getting it
Why
wrong.
don't you remember? Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure outside of those 5 books, there's also just pages and pages somewhere of like unpublished like lore that he just came up with just for when he was telling this story. And I know like the Lord of the Rings books and stuff has like asterisks, and then you go
Yeah.
to another page and it explains this is what this means in the history of Middle Earth. And then
Silmarillion.
yeah. Anyway, so I don't know if it's how based on the lore left behind by Tolkien. Like it's one of those things where it's like, well, even if this is like the new, like this is what I take as fact now. Like that's how good it is.
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm talking myself in circles, so we can
Move on.
move on. Very good.
Good.
I cannot wait for it to come out in DVD. And what did you do this week?
Let's see. Last Saturday we watched Carry On, with my parents. Oh, I had it on, and then they came in to eat lunch and like started 20 minutes in, and they sat through the entire thing because they loved it so much on Netflix. It was pretty good. Watched a couple movies, worked on my Legos. The Dune Ornithopter is what I'm working on right now.
That's a big one.
It is. I cleared off a space for it, and it's too big for the space. So I'm like, I got to move stuff around again.
The tallest minifigure.
It did, yeah. I'm like halfway through that. Oh, I booted up Red Dead 2, which I told you about. Again, my third playthrough. One of my favorite video games. My second favorite, honestly. I didn't finish Epic Mickey. I fought the splurt thing, and I'm at the point where like you got to go through all the different worlds and like those vine things.
Oh, you got to take the vines down.
Yeah. I got to that point, and I'm like, I did it through like the town thing. Mm-hmm. Then I had to go to like different places, and Oswald's like, "Oh, meet me in like
Tomorrowland."
Yeah. I'm at that point, and I was like, I took a break from like my PS5 in general, and I was like, I'm kind of missing some Red Dead 2. I don't know why. But yeah, I got back into playing. I'm not too far into it because I like to take my time with it because it's such a big game.
Yeah.
And it's so beautiful. But I got to name my horse just before I came here tonight, and it's always Buck.
It's always Buck.
This one's Buck the Third.
If I can't name main characters, because when I name my main character, it's Dingus. And if it's a last name, it's Dapper Flapper, Dingus Dapper Flapper. That goes as far back as when West of Loathing came out. That was what I named West of Loathing. Okay, so funny thing about West of Loathing, I was going through old pictures on my phone. And actually, no, I was going through pictures on my old phone. Like, I still have my Android before I switched to my iPhone. And there is a drawing I did of
me as Gary.
You as Gary the Goblin. And then I can't remember now. I'd have to go get it. What we named the cowboy when we played West of Loathing together.
Oh, my goodness. Sophomore year of high school for me? Junior year for you? Oh, my goodness. That's been a while.
Like early days of owning a Switch.
Yeah.
We stayed up until
early days of our friendship in general.
Yeah, we stayed up until 3 a.m. playing West of Loathing,
and we tried to like came with this dude.
We
to make
came
our
up
own
with
show.
like we wanted to make like a fan film based on West of Loathing, using our character and the choices we made in the story.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I love that game so much.
But yeah, so like Dingus Dapper Flapper is the name I go with. And it came from the fact, like, this is totally, I'll admit this, it came from the fact that when that game came out, and I watched Markiplier played it, and he named his character Mumfler Fumperdink. And I was like, that's
so
great.
Naturally.
So I wanted to come up with my own, like, random name, so I was like, Dingus Dapper Flapper, that sounds right.
Which, honestly, I love more.
Yeah.
Than... I forget what you said, but I always remember Dingus Dapper Flapper.
Yeah, and so because but I've come up with other names. Like when I played Persona 4 for the first time, I did Dingus Dapper Flapper, his name of the character, which totally messes with the emotional parts of that game.
Yeah, exactly.
But when I got to Persona 5, I was like, I can't just name him Dingus Dapper Flapper again. So you know what I named him? Gloomp Jenkins.
How did you spell it?
Gloomp.
Okay, good.
And Jenkins is just Jenkins. And it's so funny because Persona is one of the few like very anime games that when it gets brought over, they keep a lot of the Japanese like suffixes that they add to names for formal reasons.
Jenkins-san.
So they called him Jenkins-kun, and so it's just so fun, just only because it's Jenkins. Like it could just be Smith-kun, it wouldn't be as funny. But there's something about it being Jenkins-kun that it's just
Jenkins-kun.
Yeah.
It goes from redneck somehow to ultra redneck sounding. Jenkins-kun. I love it.
So yeah, I love. Anyway, all that to say is I don't know what I would name the horse because I feel like it shouldn't be Dingus because that's safe for main characters.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I would, maybe as a reference to me and Hayden's friendship, I would maybe name the horse Missed Chance. We've told you about that.
Yeah.
Anyway, so maybe that. I've never
Missed
played
Chance.
Red Dead. I might at some point now that I have I have the PlayStation to do it. So
it's so good. Anyway, I'm excited to get through the rest of it. Of course, it's going to be a while. It's probably going to honestly take me until the new Assassin's Creed comes out. Let's be honest. Was that February?
I think so. Mid-February, yeah. Like I think it comes out on Valentine's Day.
That and Captain America.
Yeah.
And
If not around Valentine's Day.
SNL 50 specials that Sunday. That's about all I did this week. Should I get in my releases?
Yeah, because I can't think of anything else to small talk about. So
No, I don't know. I mean, Red Dead. On the movie side of things, on VOD/digital, I don't usually bring up when movies are put there, but I had this one special. 28 Days Later dropped on VOD on Wednesday, December 18th. Is the first time it has been available, including physical media, for at least a decade.
Oh, wow.
Unless you want to buy it like secondhand. In theaters, we got Homestead released on Friday, December 20th. A former Green Beret and other survivors take refuge inside an elaborate compound when an attack on America leaves the world in chaos. The Brutalist got a limited release. Escaping post-war Europe, visionary architect Laszlo Toth arrives in America to rebuild his life, his career, and his marriage. On his own in a strange new country, Laszlo settles in Pennsylvania where the wealthy and prominent industrialist Harrison Lee Van Buren recognizes his talent. Last time I watched a movie that was super long about an architect, it was Megalopolis. On streaming on Friday, December 20th, we got The 688 dropped on Netflix. 855 joined the war effort to address a 3-year mail backlog. Despite discrimination and war-torn conditions, they sort over 17 million pieces of mail ahead of schedule. And also Juror Number 2 dropped on Max, which of course was only in theaters of like 50 theaters. The two biggest releases this week, I saw both of them. You will get a double reaction from us on one of them. Mufasa the Lion King, lost and alone, orphan cub Mufasa meets a sympathetic lion named Taka, the heir to a royal bloodline. The chance meeting sets in motion an expansive journey of an extraordinary group of misfits searching for their destinies. I did watch it this afternoon with my mom. It was all right.
It was all right.
It was all right. There was a couple of times where I was like yawning, which I hate to say that. But
Because it's so dull to look at, or because this writing is just kind of...
I actually don't think it was dull to look. I think it was a lot more expressive than
It was a lot more expressive than...
A lot more.
Okay.
I noticed it. I was like, okay, there's like a lot more.
I was supposed to watch it today, but my sister and I were both too tired. And my sister, honestly, I don't think was like excited enough. She's like, I want to watch Christmas movies. So
No, that's fair.
So we stayed home and watched Christmas movies. I listened to the soundtrack, though. And I like
Your
the
thoughts on
music. I actually quite like the music. My sister, not so much.
For reasons you told me about, like,
But I really like it. I think Lin-Manuel Miranda is getting a lot better at like matching the style and tone of the Disney film he's working on.
Yeah.
What is this? His 4th movie he's written music for? Because it was Moana, Encanto. No, this is his 3rd.
Little Mermaid.
Oh yeah, Little Mermaid.
I think this is 4th.
And
Yeah.
this is his 4th. So he's starting to get better. Like obviously,
And that's just on the Disney
Obviously,
side.
Moana was great.
Yeah.
And like each one, he did a good job. But like I would say tonally, the new music matches better than the music did for Little Mermaid. Which the new music in Little Mermaid is great.
Yeah.
But like,
Oh yeah. People are hating on the Princess song. I honestly liked it.
the
In
basically,
Little Mermaid.
Oh, and the Mermaid. Yeah.
Yeah.
That
liked
was really good.
Yeah.
I'm not hating on any of the stuff he's done. Like, all the music he's done for all the Disney movies are great. It's just you can tell he's getting slowly like out of his comfort zone with writing music to match whatever.
Yeah. Like when people say it's like it all sounds the same, like I can see your argument to that.
Yeah.
This one, I really don't have much complaints about it. I did really like the love ballad between the Tell Me It's You.
Yeah, Tell Me It's You.
Tell Me It's You
is really good.
I really liked that one.
I love Bye Bye.
I liked it. The only part I didn't like was whenever specifically the words bye bye took me out of it a little bit because I'm like, I want this to be like so, it's Mads Mikkelsen. I want it to be like so, and the character is honestly a villain. It's like there's no redeeming qualities about him. So I want to be like deep, and then every time he goes bye bye, and I was like, it took me out of it a little bit.
But I totally get what they're going for with it.
I do too.
And
but
it's
I'm
just like I love it so. I just love a good villain song, and like Moana had a villain song because Shiny.
Yeah.
But this is the first time that the main villain of a Disney movie has gotten a song since Tangled.
You might be right.
Because let's see, after Tangled, the musicals we had were Frozen. Love is an Open Door is the closest thing to a villain song that movie has. Frozen 2 did not have a villain.
I mean, there's Wish, which we always forget about.
Oh yeah, this is the thanks I get.
So I mean, you forgot about Wish, but As
Forgot
you
about
should.
Wish. But like this is the first good villain song. This is the first good villain song that the main
Since
villain is saying
Mother Knows
since
Best.
Mother Knows Best. Shiny is also a really good villain song.
But like
it's
main
but
villain.
that's a secondary villain song.
Yeah. I just like every other part of the song, Bye Bye, I liked. I love
I
like
love the line about the circle of life.
I do too. Everything touches will be mine. I was like, everything the light touches will be mine. I should
Yeah,
say.
the circle of
Oh.
life is just
And he
an-
says that like throughout the movie. I'm like,
yeah.
It's just, every time he's specific, I'd be in the song and then he would literally just say bye bye in like that high
Bye-bye.
pitch, and I was like, took me out of it a little bit. But other than that, song is good.
Yeah, that song's super good. And people are like kind of making fun of the Prince song. It's basically the movie's equivalent of I Just Can't Wait to Be King.
I Always Wanted a Brother.
Yeah.
I thought that was.
I
pretty
thought it
good.
was really good.
Yeah, that's the one I'd heard snippets of.
Yeah.
Is I Always Wanted a Brother.
And it is so good. Anyway.
Yeah, one of my favorite. The last thing I'll say about it was one of my favorite jokes was there was some good interjections between Timon and Pumbaa.
So is it Lion King 1.5 kind of?
Not really.
Not really? Okay.
But there's a lot of interjections from because Rafiki tells a story
yeah.
to Kiara. But there's a lot of every time you're like, it'll come out of the flashback, and it'll be Timon and Pumbaa because Pumbaa a lot of times like, I legitimately don't know who Taka is. Is it me? No, he's like, I'm kidding. No, it's not. It's this and this and this. But seriously, is it me? Because he was like, you don't know who Taka is. They don't call him Scar till the end. But there was one line where Pumbaa says something like, we've already seen the play. And Timon's like, don't tell me about the play. I was basically just a sock puppet. A glorified sock puppet. And I'm like, this is good. That's good. That's good. But no, it's all right. It's all right. If you want to wait and see it on Disney Plus, you can. If you want to go out, I also wouldn't. It's not like wanted to or I'd be like,
It's kind of an either or. Like if you like to go to the theaters and watch it, go to the
yeah,
theaters.
go to theaters. But I'm also not going to be like, go to the theaters to see this.
Yeah.
Like
Unlike-
I will be. Sonic the Hedgehog 3 also came out. Transition. Segue.
Yes, absolutely. A high five for that transition.
Exactly. Synopsis goes, Sonic, Knuckles, and Tails reunite to battle Shadow, a mysterious new enemy with powers unlike anything they've faced before. With their abilities outmatched in every way, they seek out an unlikely alliance to stop Shadow and protect the planet. For those of you who do not know anything about Sonic the Hedgehog 3, Joe Robotnik is also in there. Jim Carrey plays double roles.
Yes.
And he's fantastic.
Hot take.
We did go see this together.
Yeah, we
should
went
post
and saw this yesterday.
that. In a packed theater, sold out.
back theater. It was supposed to be the three of us.
We weren't able to sit.
We weren't able to sit together.
Trey, I'm sorry.
The Sonic the Hedgehog movies might be one of the best modern trilogy of movies we've had in a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It just all three movies are fantastic. I mean, one gets better. Each one gets better. Like
Yeah.
it just that very rarely happens. Usually, like you might have like one being good, two being better, and then three kind of. But like this is
Are we including like ones that went on to have more than 3?
no. Like this is
Just
like
solid
as
three.
a solid 3. Like yes, we know there's more coming, but like as a solid 3 movies, this
Of what we
is
have
like,
now.
Of what we have
Planet of
now.
the Apes is up there as well, but this is yeah.
Yeah. I never like to say like this is the best thing of like the 2020s.
Unless you really want to stake money on it, but
yeah.
yeah.
But
No, I agree.
that being said, talking about the actual movie itself, I mean,
so good.
so good. Jim Carrey.
I told
did-
you this. As Gerald, I feel like as Ivo, he's like kind of himself, but also his like ridiculousness.
Yeah.
What I loved about this was Gerald, he was able to go back to what I consider like classic Jim Carrey of putting on a voice and becoming a different person.
Yeah.
And I love that.
Because like when I'm talking to I'm the only person in my family who's watched all 3 of them so far.
Yeah.
And when I'm describing how Jim Carrey is in the movies, because I say like the way he is in the first movie is very much 90s Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
Like he's back to being goofy and dancing and and doing
Yeah.
all the physical things, physical comedy kind of stuff. And then like the second one, it gets a little more
Silly.
silly, a little more grinchy.
Yeah.
And then like this third one, he's like back to like, I mean, Count Olaf levels of like,
Yeah. Especially with Gerald.
yeah, especially with
Gerald.
Gerald, his voice for Gerald is a little Count Olaf-ish.
Oh, absolutely.
Especially when he's like in the shaggy flesh.
Flesh.
It's just,
In the shaggy flesh.
But then, being such a goofy villain, they still kept an emotional part of his story that is in the video games. That like I'm glad they kept that in.
Yeah, we're not going to spoil anything.
We're not. I don't want to spoil anything, even though technically the storyline is like over 20 years old.
Yeah. Keanu Reeves.
Keanu Reeves does such a good job as
Fantastic.
as Shadow.
Fantastic.
No one like. Yes, it was like Keanu Reeves. It was either between him or Hayden Christensen as who would voice.
Yeah.
I don't think Hayden Christensen could have said the one funny line Shadow got to have.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
The one funny line. I mean, he might have others, but like the one that's
Yeah.
supposed to be like a joke.
Yeah.
That he has could not have been said with as much seriousness as Keanu Reeves gave the line.
Yeah.
Like he was perfect. Like I was actually a little skeptical about Keanu Reeves playing the character.
That's what Trent said. He's like, I thought it was just going to be like Keanu Reeves,
and
is what we hear.
but no, he
And I saw the director say whenever they like cast him, he came in, you could tell he had done his homework.
his agent called him and was like, "Yo, Keanu, you got hired." He's like, "Awesome. Hey, honey, break out the GameCube.
I'm gonna do it now.
I'm gonna be playing Sonic the Hedgehog all night." That's not a good impression. Anyway,
It's fine. It's fine. A lot. I liked. Of course, I feel like I'm one of the very few people that is like, to me, 2 is like a tiny step down from the first one, just because I'm like Jim Carrey's humor I liked, but like Sonic humor kind of annoyed me a little bit. But then the third one, I'm like, I'm all there.
yeah, like I was afraid because I'd seen some reviews be like, "This is really good. They should have toned down Sonic a bit." He wasn't as bad as the reviewers made him out to be.
No,
like, there was
no.
maybe 1 or 2 lines
There's a couple where I'm like,
that could have not been there.
yeah,
Same with Jim Carrey though. There was a couple lines where I'm like, they could have just left that emotional beat go on for a little longer and not
Yeah.
have a punchline there.
but I also feel like for humor, you had like the Sonic humor, which is, I think, mostly geared towards the kids, and then Jim Carrey's humor, which I guarantee most of it's probably improv,
Yeah.
is like definitely for like the adults that are watching, because
That being said, this is almost
these are nitpicking.
Any issues I have with the movie are nitpicking.
Yeah.
This is definitely
thoroughly had a good
this is
time.
definitely like a 9 or 10 out of 10.
Oh, absolutely. That's why I'm like, Jay's rating, so good.
Yeah, it is so good. I don't know what it is. Like, these are both end of the year movies, but Lord of the Rings and Sonic 3 are like 2 of my favorite movies I've watched this year.
Yeah. Hold on, I had a quote I was going to bring up with Mufasa. I forgot about that. Since you said.
While Jay's bringing up the quote, other things about it. The humans were in it less.
Because you're getting so much
Because
of the
you're getting
team
so
there,
much
apart from Robotnik.
Yeah, apart from Robotnik, of course.
Obviously.
I like
And Stone.
The movie original characters were in it so much less.
Yeah.
Missed them a little bit, but also at the same time, when they were in it, they got to
gotta
be
have fun.
probably the best they had been
Oh,
so
yeah.
far.
Oh, yeah.
Like out of the 3 movies,
Yeah.
like it's
It's so good.
so good.
It's so good. There's so many good things about this.
Yeah. And then, like-
it's such a good time.
And then like Tails
Mm-hmm.
and Knuckles getting the thing I did. One of the my nitpicks about Sonic 2 is Tails was there for like to give Sonic kind of an emotional ties.
Yeah.
But like that was really a movie to get Knuckles to be developed as a character. This movie we got to see Tails a little more be a
And he
character.
paralleled with Stone
And yeah.
a lot. Without spoiling anything, and that's probably as much as I
And
can
so
say.
like Tails got moments
But-
to shine because he kind of got some moments to shine in in Sonic 2, but like you get to see who he is more as a character
Yeah.
in this third one. So I really loved that. More of Idris Elba's Knuckles is always
it's
great.
so good.
So
The one-liners it's just weird hearing Idris Elba say that.
yeah.
Like, it's one thing seeing Knuckles say that, but I'm like, then I picture like Idris Elba in the booth being like,
And you know
saying
he
that.
loves it. I mean, he's already
Oh,
said
absolutely.
he
he
like,
wants a Knuckles and Shadow show.
like just say what you will about Sonic the Hedgehog is, but like when every actor who's part of it is like
it's just having fun.
just having fun and being like, yeah, I'll come back. Like Jim no sequels Carrey coming back for a third movie
Third one and
and
playing
possibly a fourth if like.
You know they probably will at least try it.
Did you read the interview because he had that quote where he said, an angel will have to drop a golden script in front of me.
And then he's like, I bought a bunch of
They
stuff.
printed out the ink on the script they sent him with gold ink.
For 2?
For 3.
3?
They sent him because it was before 3 was
Yeah.
like he was casted in 3 that he made that statement. And so when they were like, Well, this better be a pretty good script. And then they printed it in gold, and it's like that's
so
just
good.
great. Yeah,
The quote I found.
yeah. On to the quote. Now that we've like given our final thoughts on the.
We're sidetracking back to Mufasa. I just saw this while in the drive-thru at McDonald's, and I loved it. From Film Feeder on Facebook, it said, "Quote: If you see one 2024 blockbuster prequel by a visionary filmmaker with the title ending in 'Sa', make sure it's the one with Anya Taylor-Joy." Furiosa, and I'm like, I didn't even think about that. I kind of agree with that, but I'm not. That's them calling it like it sucked. I'm like, it's fine, but
Yeah.
Furiosa's better.
It looked like it was gonna be perfectly fine.
Yeah. Yeah. I forgot about that until you said something.
But yeah.
To it.
So those were like we talked about the big release of one of the big releases of last week, Lord of the Rings. I got to talk about that, and we got to talk about those two. So pretty good, pretty big. Spoiler alert for later. There's no really big game release. I'm pretty. I'll have to look into it. There might be some more that are releasing this year, but I'm pretty sure we're done until January as far as like the huge game releases go, because they want to get it out before Christmas.
Yeah, so you can get them.
Can get them for your kids or for yourself or whoever.
On the TV side of things, on Sunday, December 15th, saw the series premiere of Dexter: Original Sin on Showtime, and the series finale of Yellowstone on Paramount Network, which my dad would kill me if I did not bring that up. He literally goes, "Shot about Yellowstone last week on the podcast," and I'm like, "No." He goes, "Why not? Dad, it hadn't aired yet. It's not ending this week." And he's like, "Okay." Tuesday, December 17th, we got the release of Aaron Rodgers' Enigma on Netflix, and then Secret Level Season 1B on Amazon Prime Video. Wednesday, December 18th, saw The Secret Lives of Animals drop on Apple TV+, and Thursday, December 19th, saw Season 6 of Virgin River drop on Netflix, Beast Games drops on Amazon Prime Video, and Fast Friends dropped on Max. In terms of specials, on Wednesday, December 18th, The Simpsons, Oh Come On All Ye Faithful. British mentalist Darren Brown visits Springfield to try and bring the Christmas spirit back to the town. Unfortunately, things go awry when Brown hypnotizes Homer in an attempt to make him a better gift giver and ends up making him believe he is Santa Claus. Sounds hilarious. I have not been able to see it yet.
That word is awry.
Awry? I'm so sorry, listeners. It is awry. I hate myself now. And in terms of music, The Weeknd teases his new album, tour, and movie coming in 2025. That is all my releases for this week, this far into the episode.
Well, we had a lot to say about the releases,
we did.
so yeah.
We did.
My video game releases this week, December 16th, we had On Your Tail on PC from devs Memorable Games and publisher Humble Games. It's coming to console. I can't remember what console it's coming to. I think it's Switch, but that got delayed to next month. It was really supposed to come out like 2 or 3 weeks ago. A cozy detective adventure where you play as a vacation-bound writer who stumbles upon an idyllic town plagued by an enigmatic thief. Crack the case in this charming seaside town, build relationships, and unravel secrets in a world full of quirky characters and heartwarming stories.
Ooh.
I'm been excited for this game for a while.
Is it open world?
It's open world-ish. It's like you're living your... Do you know anything about Animal Crossing?
I've seen people play it.
So it's like got this Animal Crossing thing of like you go and you talk to local villagers, you build up your relationship with them. That's more like farming sim game stuff, building your relationship with locals. So you got like activities you do to spend your day, but then on top of that, it's a mystery solving game where you get like this pop-up book thing where you have to like put sequences in the right order to get the writer to figure out like what would have happened in the crime scene, and then solving the mysteries from there.
I feel like I'd like that.
Very excited, very excited to have that out. Haven't gotten to play it yet, because now is the time of not buying myself new things. So
yeah.
Rensport on PC from Competition Company and Tyon. Rensport is the future of racing simulation, competition, and digital car culture. Live the thrill of driving high-performance race cars on laser-scanned circuits from around the world and breathtaking roads imagined by the community. On December 17th, we had Flint Treasure of Oblivion on PC, Xbox, and PS5 from devs Savage Level and publisher Microids. Experience the golden age of piracy through a strong and original narrative, real-time exploration, and turn-based tactical combat in Flint Treasure of Oblivion. Squid Games Unleashed on mobile platforms via Netflix games from Boss Fight. Play Squid Game Unleashed, a bloody, fun, multiplayer party royale game inspired by the #1 Netflix show. Team up with friends to face off against contestants from across the globe. For a limited time, Squid Game Unleashed is available for everyone to play, and no paid Netflix membership required. December 18th, the Dead Man's Promise DLC released for Blood West on PC from devs Hyperstrange and publisher publisher New Blood Interactive, Blood West: Dead Man's Promise offers you to a new story chapter of immersive stealth first-person action, the course of which you will take you to a familiar place at an unfamiliar time. As Twin's father, you will have to pay your debt to the god of death and wrangle lost souls for his herald. Be prepared for another Weird West adventure with new eldritch horrors and new weapons to send them back to where they came from. Quilts and Cats of Calico was ported to Switch from Monster Couch. Quilts and Cats of Calico is a wholesome, award-winning, complex puzzle game for up to 4 players. Meet adorable cats and sew the coziest quilts. Complete your with other players in multiplayer mode, play solo, or delve into the story of a quilter sewing their way through the city of cats. On December 19th, Alien Rogue Incursion on PC and PS5/PSVR2. It says PS5, but it's a VR game, so I'd imagine it's like you have to have the PSVR2 to play it.
Yeah.
Alien Rogue Incursion is an all-new action horror video game, or VR game, that transforms you into ex-Colonel Marina Zula Hendricks on a dangerous mission to the uncharted planet Purdon. Featuring innovative real-life motion gameplay, a whole-body loadout, and the most cunning xenomorphs ever encountered. And finally, on December 20th, we had The Midnight Crimes on PC from Deadly Crow Games. Point-and-click adventure game. Play as a retired private detective investigating a missing child case while battling your past demons. Explore Midnight Cove, a wicked Victorian city with semi-open world mechanics and characters' relationships. Experience the story episodically, chapter by chapter. So it's basically like a indie game company trying to make a modern day Telltale game. Mm-hmm. Because apparently the people that bought Telltale when it closed down, I don't know what they're doing. Yeah. But so they made the Midnight Crimes. I played the demo. It was really fun. I hope they fixed movement a little bit from the demo I played because it was a little slow. And there's also shooting sections in the demo that I could not beat. So I'm hoping some of those things were fixed because those were like very, very frustrating. But the parts where you are talking to people and going around and like making decisions, and it even does like the so-and-so will remember that kind of thing. So, and that is my releases for this week.
Nice.
Not a whole lot, like I said, Christmas time.
All the big stuff out.
All the big stuff is out of the way.
And posters this week, we got The White Lotus Season 3, Death of a Unicorn, Lilo and Stitch, Abbott Elementary, and It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia crossover, You Season 5, a 0 Day, and a Christmas-themed poster for The Boys. In trailers and teasers, we got our trailer for Warfare, releasing 2025 in theaters, not second week in a row on the pod. The White Lotus Season 3, releasing February 16th on HBO. Karate Kids Legends, releasing May 30th in theaters. Black Bag, releasing March 14th in theaters. Kunk on Life, releasing January 2nd on Netflix. Death of a Unicorn, releasing spring 2025 in theaters. A new teaser for Lilo and Stitch, releasing May 23rd in theaters. The Electric State, releasing March 14th on Netflix. XO Kitty Season 2, releasing January 16th on Netflix. And the final trailer for Den of Thieves Pantera, releasing January 10th in theaters. For release dates, Scary Movie 6 will be releasing in 2026. The Peaky Blinders movie, Stephen Knight hopes to have it ready by the end of 2025. The Housemaid will release on December 25th, 2025. A lot of stuff announced this week are coming out in Christmas of next year. 28 years later, The Bone Temple releases on January 16th, 2026, less than a year after 28 Years Later, which I believe comes out in June, July, summerish, directed by Nia DaCosta. Marty Supreme releases on December 25th. This is the ping pong movie with Marty Reisman. Starring Timothy Chalamet, Gwyneth Paltrow, Tyler the Creator, Fran Drescher, and Mr. Wonderful, described as an adventure comedy that mixes The Wolf of Wall Street and Catch Me If You Can, which begs the question, is Timothy Chalamet now the king of Christmas box office? Because this is going to be the third year in a row. Hurry Up Tomorrow releases May 16th. Starring The Weeknd, Jenna Ortega, and Barry Kagan, as directed by Trey Edward Schultz. And the Anaconda sequel will also release on December 25th, 2025, starring Jack Black and Paul Rudd's new bromance, Bro Trip. We're going to have to go see that.
Yeah.
We need to get Hayden down here, and then the four of us should go see the Anaconda in theaters. In terms of casting, Scream 7 for the fourth weekend in a row, Mason Gooding and Courtney Cox will both officially return. Beef Season 2 casts Song Kang-ho. And did you see this? Masters of the Universe. Jared Leto will play Skeletor. We were doing so good.
This will be the second. I'm just going to call it now. This will be the second time in a row that Jared Leto will be playing a character previously voiced by Mark Hamill and absolutely butchering it. I have no faith. He like Joker was it could have been a direction thing, but then his other movies kept coming out, and I slowly realized
And
I am not a
Morbius came
Jared
out.
Leto fan.
And Haunted Mansion came out, which I always forget he's in, but he's like the gentleman ghost.
Oh, I didn't even realize that was him. He was in
Yeah.
it so little.
I know.
I mean, I don't want to naysay it now. He could do a perfectly fine job, but like, I don't know. I'm not.
You think about his track record.
just his going on his track record. Anyway, we can move on now.
That's all I have for casting.
Yeah, that's all you have for casting?
Yep.
Is it on to mine?
Yep, you're miscellaneous.
My miscellaneous gaming news: Mariah Carey, Skibbity Toilet, and SpongeBob SquarePants content was added to Fortnite this week.
Oh, SpongeBob is being added?
Not as a character. There are a set of SpongeBob SquarePants games that you can play. There's like one of them's like Prop Hunt, and it's very strange like set of games, but it's SpongeBob themed.
Yeah.
The funniest thing about of the three of these is Mariah Carey, because they just put a big block of ice in the middle of the thing. Everyone's like, Mariah Carey's going to thaw it out, isn't it? And then like it was leaked, but like she thawed out of it. Anyway,
Brought the meme to life.
we don't have to talk about the other thing.
Oh, Skibbity Toilet?
A cinematic trailer for Poppy Playtime 4 Chapter 4 was released. 2008 indie cult classic RPG Off is making its way to Switch and Steam via a definitive edition. We got a first look at the surreal world of this RPG. The definitive edition of Off features an all-new battle system, placing improvements as well as new areas and hidden bosses from the game's creator, Mortis Ghost. The surreal indie RPG originally released in French, but will now have an official English translation. Off will be available on Steam and Nintendo Switch in 2025. Sleep paralysis horror game Dream Cage was revealed for a 2025 release.
I feel like that would scare the crap out. Just the name alone.
The trailer's kind of violent.
Just the sleep paralysis.
Rolling back to Fortnite a little bit, Shinobi, Batman, and Harley Quinn are being added to Fortnite. A technical seminar presentation was held for the PS5 Pro on December 18th, going into depth on the specifications of the console. The Ratatoskr update for Squirrel with a Gun was given a trailer showcasing the new boss fight and content for the game available now. The Ratatoskr update for the sandbox shooter game, which brings a new boss battle with a new rival, Ratatoskr. I'm hoping I'm saying that right. It's the Norse god.
Yeah.
The update features a super platforming challenge, a new boss battle, and 4 new outfits. A new rival has arrived and joins forces with Mother and Father to destroy the neighborhood. The fight against Ratatoskr is quite unlike the vehicle-based bosses you've faced before. The mythical squirrel moves fast and has a variety of ranged melee attacks and is considerably smaller target. Fortunately, you will be granted a special SMG with a magazine of infinite bullets for the occasion. Command to whip up a cyclone that wreaks havoc in the neighborhood. Ratatoskr awaits our hero Squirrel atop the debris of the golden acorn tree. See Squirrel overcome this new challenge and defeat Ratatoskr to save the neighborhood.
Oh, but the Red Dead 2's gonna have to wait for a little bit.
You have to get back to Squirrel with a Gun.
I have to get back to Squirrel with a Gun.
I saw that and I was like, Jay, I hope Jay.
Oh, this is the first time I'm hearing of
Yeah,
it.
I was hoping this would be the first time you hear of it. Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
Because I'm sure you're so used to seeing like patch notes up in the corner, so you probably saw like Squirrel with a Gun update, and you're just like, oh, cool. And just,
I have so many that I haven't updated.
You don't
It's
even-
just like 5 updates available. I'm
Oh,
like,
okay.
I don't even open it. But
Avatar: The Last Airbender content is coming to Overwatch 2 December 30th. Desktop Survivors 98 was announced. It is a roguelite dungeon crawler that takes place on your desktop. Fight off enemies and explore retro desktop-inspired randomly generated levels. Coming to PC. Demo available now. Sony has become the majority shareholder of Kadokawa, a multimedia conglomerate which owns many gaming and anime studios, amongst other things, some of which being FromSoft. A lot of anime like publishers that kind of like help get it over here with our local translator publishing stuff. Sony was previously discussing buying Kadokawa, which would not end well. One of the developers they own actually recently made the newest Mario and Luigi, so it'd be like other companies would be affected by this. So it's like we don't want them to own it.
Yeah.
But them being a majority shareholder is like the best case scenario.
yeah.
Cozy Train Management and Crafting game Locomoto was announced for PC. Despelote was announced for all major platforms in early 2025, a slice-of-life childhood adventure game about the magical grip soccer held over the people of Quito, Ecuador in 2001. And finally, a market research firm has predicted that Sony and Microsoft will struggle in the next generation, leaving Nintendo as the victor. I can't remember if this was the same article or same like news story, but there was also similar talk that the after this like next generation there might be room for only 2 consoles, and Nintendo is definitely going to be one of them. This is market research. This isn't a for sure thing.
Okay.
I just thought it was interesting enough, like interesting enough of a conversation.
Yeah.
Because Sony and Microsoft both have their strengths and weaknesses. For one, they both focus on like trying to make bigger and better games, and they lose more and more money because of it's just
Yeah.
an uphill battle with what they are trying to do. If the uphill battle is even the right way to put it, but trying to appeal to such a broad audience to make as much money as possible by doing things like making it free to play and adding microtransactions and making it cinematic and spending all this money on it,
Yeah.
and getting like actors like Keanu Reeves in there and different things like that. Like they spend all this money and they lose it because the general audience doesn't play that much games. Like they'll buy it and then they're not going to keep playing it. And like, I don't want to get into that whole conversation to the point of like getting into the nitty gritty, but like they have those weaknesses. But then Sony, I would say, has a lot more of an appeal of
They're story driven.
there's
If that has anything to do
with
with it.
their games, they're a lot more story driven. They're not as Microsoft and Sony are about equally as varied, but Sony has a little extra variation. Just in like they also have Spider-Man. It's not just shooters. Microsoft is mostly shooters. When they do buy companies and they make something unique, they're either quickly shut down or they're told you're no longer making anything unique. You're just going to work on a shooter.
Yeah.
And so
I would say if I had to guess, I mean, I've seen more people playing Xbox than I do PlayStation.
if I were to make a guess, it's a toss-up, but I could see Sony just because Sony also has a big appeal in Japan, which
Ooh, good point.
and other countries, but like Japan's also like a lot of games come out of Japan, RPGs and stuff, which come to Microsoft too. But PlayStation and PlayStation and Nintendo get a lot of exclusives when it comes to like more of the anime or just non-anime, just Japanese games, where it's like Microsoft doesn't have that. They own a lot of indie games. They own a lot of like Western-made studios. They own some overseas, but it's just they also they just don't have as much of an appeal worldwide as they do in the United States. So that kind of
Could be a
goes for
factor.
them.
I'm
A
hoping
lot
it's
of what I'm
PlayStation.
sounds like I'm talking out of my butt, and then I get to the point and I'm actually trying to make. So like I'm trying to stumble through this.
Yeah.
But
I'm
yeah,
hoping it's PlayStation.
I would guess PlayStation. Microsoft is focusing a lot on getting their games on other platforms.
Yeah.
So even though they just don't focus on the Xbox as much as Nintendo focuses on the Switch and PlayStation focuses on the PlayStation.
Yeah.
So there's that where it could be like Microsoft would be the most well set up for just becoming like a publishing kind of thing and focusing on PC gaming. They could absolutely dominate PC gaming if they wanted to.
Oh, absolutely.
But then there's the things to say about like consoles, because not every family or home is going to have a gaming PC. It's just easy to get something you can hook to the TV. So when you're in the office, your kids can go play and, just do whatever. So there's a lot of strengths and weaknesses Sony and Microsoft both had. But that being said, it's market research that it's experts saying this is what we predict, but that doesn't mean that it is
It's
exactly
necessarily
going to
gonna
happen
happen.
like they say it's going to happen.
Yeah.
But I do agree with them that Nintendo is probably going to
Oh, for
keep
sure.
just going strong, just because of the way they approach how they make games and how they release their consoles and stuff. They don't focus on the biggest, baddest thing they can possibly do. They just focus on like, is this fun? Are people going to like this? Is this going to make us money? Like they're definitely like
Who checks all those boxes? Yeah, it's good to go.
yeah. They focus on smaller games with a more packed in than they do bigger games with sometimes not a lot of packed in. You'll be paying a lot of money to play a game for like maybe 10 hours, 20 hours, and then you're done. When Nintendo does that, but you sit there and go, I can replay that again and get a new experience.
Replayability, yeah.
Yeah. So
Or resituate.
anyway, all that being said, I thought that was a very interesting talking point. I usually don't bring up a lot of like the business end because we focus so much on announcements. I will mention layoffs if they happen. But I thought that was just an interesting, like, rhetorical, just something to think about.
I hope it's PlayStation. I can't lose my PlayStation.
I hope it's PlayStation 2 because they've been around longer than Xbox has. Microsoft's been around for forever.
Yeah.
But like
yeah.
they have more of a like the wisdom that I wish they would use.
Yeah.
That wisdom is there, whereas Microsoft has kind of always been. PlayStation was founded out of spite. Microsoft was founded because, hey, they're making a lot of money with that gaming thing over there. Let's do that.
Yeah.
That's the difference between the two. So, if anything, PlayStation might just stick around purely out of spite, and I respect that.
Oh yeah. You got to win the way you got to win. Whatever means necessary. I got a couple more miscellaneous. And first looks, we got our first looks at Karate Kid Legends. First look at Jackie Chan, Ben Wang, and Ralph Macchio. First look at Megan 2.0. First look at the animated Messi series. The series follows young Lionel Messi as he must lead the fight against villains who have kept the 10 realms under their control. First look at Fountain of Youth, which is Guy Ritchie's new film starring John Krasinski, Isa Gonzalez, and Natalie Portman. Described as a contemporary Indiana Jones, the film follows siblings who partner on a global heist to find the mythical Fountain of Youth. Sounds awesome. I'm expecting a trailer's probably going to come out within the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
We also got our first look at Death of a Unicorn at Paul Rudd and Jenna Ortega. Did you see the trailer for that?
I saw bits and pieces of it.
It's like an A24 like supernatural comedy / maybe horror. New look at Wallace and Gromit, Avengers Most Foul. New behind the scenes look. First clip at The Simpsons Oh Come On All Ye Faithful before it released. First clip from a musical sequence of Better Man. A new look at Scarlett Johansson, Jonathan Bailey, and Mahershala Ali from Jurassic World Rebirth. New look at Michael B. Jordan in Sinners. New look at Cillian Murphy and Barry Kagan in the Peaky Blinders movie, which I believe was behind the scenes. New behind the scenes look at Stranger Things Season 5, and a new look at Bob Odenkirk from Nobody 2. Box office earnings and records. Wicked, for the fourth week in a row, passed $500 million worldwide. Gladiator 2 passed $400 million worldwide. Christopher Nolan's Interstellar has become the highest grossing IMAX re-release ever. And Sonic the Hedgehog 3 earns $25.8 million in the film domestic opening day, Friday. That's
pretty good.
That's not even including what Thursday sales brought.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Glenn Powell barely got in here again for the 8th week in a row. Running Man, Edgar Wright's remake, moved its release date up to November 7th, 2025. In terms of new announcements, a lot of this where I'm also like, this is just this week. A Luigi Mangione documentary is in the works. Oscar-winning filmmaker Alex Gibney is developing the documentary. Jamie Lee Curtis will reportedly star as Jessica Fletcher in a Murder, She Wrote movie. Did you see that?
Interesting.
I can kind of see it, but I'm like, I did not know that was
It's gonna
the
be it's one of those things where it's definitely a reboot. This I would call a reboot.
Yeah. Oh.
We were talking about our like pedantic conversation last week.
Yeah.
This would definitely be a reboot. So it would almost have to, for it to be Jamie Lee Curtis, it would have to be a different version of the character. Because like, I don't know, Angela Lansbury is such a that is Angela Lansbury. Whereas I can't see
like
Jamie Lee Curtis being like the sweet lady that also solves murders. Like this almost has to be a little bit more of a.
To me, I see like Angela Lansbury is like this sweet but snarky.
Yeah.
Whereas Jamie Lee Curtis is just like
Snarky but sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe not even sweet. It depends on the character. But yeah.
I want to know who plays the nephew. That's all I want to know. It has to be the nephew pulling her into the murder, or it's not a good murder she wrote mystery.
It's Freaky Friday 3.
They have to hit all the beats. It has to take place in
Maine.
In Cabot Cove. Cabot Cove?
Yeah.
Yeah. I love Murder, She Wrote. I didn't
even know they were going to make a movie.
I didn't even know that either.
That's why I said new announcements.
I love me some murder mystery shows, and like of the older murder mystery shows, this one is my favorite. I mean, I have a stinking Jessica Fletcher action figure.
You do that. We spent forever trying to buy.
But I will give it the benefit of the doubt. I mean, we have
cautiously optimistic.
I mean, we're getting new Matlock,
which is getting really good reviews. It's nominated for some awards.
So if they bring back Murder, She Wrote, all I'm saying is
lead to a series.
A room is on the table for a mini series or movie or something for Diagnosis Murder. Dick Van Dyke's murder mystery show.
I've never heard of it.
Murder mystery? Yeah, I think it was murder. You've never heard of Diagnosis Murder?
No, they never played on Cozy TV growing up, so I never watched it. That's the only reason I know Murder, She Wrote is because I watched Cozy TV growing up.
So it's like, you get...
I've let stuff down for the last time.
You know how cartoons, they would make like baby everything?
Yeah.
There was a time in television when it was, this older actor that's like historical as far as like television and movies go. Let's give them a murder mystery show. We had Angela Lansbury in Murder, She Wrote. We had...
Dick Van Dyke.
Dick Van Dyke in Diagnosis Murder. And then we had Andy Griffith in Matlock.
Oh, he played Matlock?
Pretty sure that was Matlock.
Oh, wow.
I don't want to. Yeah, Andy Griffith was Matlock.
I did not know that. Drastic turnaround for Murder, She Wrote. A Bluey film will release in theaters in 2027. That's where I'm like, I can't believe that was this week. I feel like it's been so long.
I know. Well, I just can't believe I missed it because, like, discussing film would have popped up in my thing to say, but no, what I saw was the TikTok.
A Pacific Drive TV series in the works with James Wan set to produce. It was confirmed Sonic the Hedgehog 4 is in the works in theaters spring 2027. A Ghostbusters animated movie is in the works on Netflix. Did you see that?
I did.
Chris Parn, who directed Clyde with Chance Meatballs, is set to direct. Bananas, Oscar Isaac and Ana de Armas are set to star in and executive produce a new series for Apple TV Plus with David O. Russell set to direct. A new Mummy movie is in the works with Lee Cronin set to direct. He directed Evil Dead Rise. It's in theaters on April 17th, 2026. Multiple Arcane spinoffs are in active development. They said, quote, some of the ones that we are developing right now are completely new characters from our IP, and others are a continuation of Arcane. In terms of miscellaneous announcements, I do have a couple to bring up. Wicked Part 2 has been retitled to Wicked for Good. And also, a lot of films have been added to the National Film Registry, including Spy Kids, The Social Network, No Country for Old Men, and the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, among like 20 others. And then I just saw this a couple days ago, and the next James Bond film is stalled in development because Amazon wants to create, quote, Marvel-style ideas with TV show and movie spinoffs. Franchise producer Barbara Broccoli has called them, quote, idiots.
You know, earlier when I was talking about how like Sony and Microsoft just want to chase that trend, appeal as broad an audience as possible, do what everyone else is doing to try to make that money.
Yeah. Amazon.
You notice how the only other people that could possibly do a cinematic universe and do it well is DC, and even they're having to take a second stab at it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's all I'll say about that.
As you know, I love James Bond.
James Bond
I don't think it would
just be a James Bond focused thing. And
exactly.
Because like, what are they going to... They're going to focus on side characters who change every film? Like, there's like maybe two or three...
We're going to get a Moneypenny series.
And we're going to say there's like 2 or 3 characters that are like reoccurring with James Bond, but for the most part, like the female lead's almost always different, if not always different. I'm not familiar with every James Bond movie.
The villain's always different.
The villain's always different because that's just a spy thing. But like, I don't know.
There's not much you can do.
We're gonna get a
like a Q. Is that the
a Goldfinger prequel movie?
James Bond's young James Bond.
Yeah, it's
Little Bond.
It's just young Indiana Jones and young Indy. It's young Jamie.
No, that's exactly what it'll be. Yeah, I
Played
saw
by
that.
Tom Holland. Anyway.
You're run all right. I saw that. I'm like, I need to bring that up because I love that the franchise producer was like, no, that is all my miscellaneous. You said you don't have anniversaries.
I do not have anniversaries.
I do have, and in lieu of birthdays, 10 Oscar shortlists were announced this week. Just real quickly run through for 10 categories, I should say. Best documentary feature film, 169 films are eligible, narrowed down to 15. Members of the documentary branch will vote to determine the shortlist and nominees. The BB Files, Black Box Diaries, Dahomey, Daughters, Eno, Frida, Hollywood Gate, No Other Land, Porcelain War, Queendom, The Remarkable Life of Iblin, Soundtrack to a Coup d'etat, Sugarcane, Union, and Will and Harper. I did notice no Superman, the Christopher Reeve story. Best documentary short film, 104 short films were eligible, narrowed down to 15. Members of the documentary branch will vote to determine the shortlist and nominees. Chasing Rue, Death by Numbers, Eternal Father, I Am Ready, Warden, Incident, Instruments of a Beating Heart, Keeper, Michaela's Voice, A Letter to the World, Once Upon a Time in Ukraine, The Only Girl in the Orchestra, Planet Walker, The Quilters, Seat 31, Zoe Zephyr, A Swim Lesson, and Until He's Back. Best international feature film, a lot of this Flo did make it, I will say that. Films from 85 countries and regions were eligible, narrowed down to 15.
You said Flo did or didn't?
Did. It's on the short list. Academy members from all branches were invited to participate in the preliminary round of voting and must have met a minimum viewing requirement to be eligible to vote in the category. There were I'm Still Here from Brazil, Universal Language from Canada, Waves from Czech Republic, The Girl with a Needle from Denmark, Emilie Perez from France will probably be on there. The Seed of the Sacred Fig from Germany is getting a lot more. It'll probably be on there too. Touch from Iceland, Kneecap from Ireland, Vermiglio from Italy, Flo from Latvia, Armand from Norway, from Ground Zero from Palestine, Dahomey from Senegal, How to Make Millions Before Grandma Dies from Thailand, and Santosh from United Kingdom. In the nominations round, Academy members from all branches are invited to opt in and participate and must view all 15 shortlisted films. Best makeup and hairstyling, 10 films have been shortlisted. All members of the makeup artist and hairstylist branch will be invited to view excerpts and interviews with the artists from the shortlisted films on Saturday, January 11th. The 10 shortlisted films are The Apprentice, Beetlejuice, A Different Man, Dune Part 2, Emilia Perez, Maria, Nosferatu, The Substance, Waltzing with Brando, and Wicked. I include saying all members of the makeup artist and hairstylist branch will vote because I think it's just a common assumption and just regular people are like, everyone gets to do it. No, it's the certain. Everyone gets nominated for like Best Picture and stuff like that. But like actors can only vote on the actors and Best Picture. Directors can only vote for director stuff. Best original score, 145 scores are eligible, narrowed down to 20. Members of the music branch voted to determine the shortlist of nominees. Included Alien Romulus, Baby Girl, Beetlejuice, Blink Twice, Blitz, The Brutalist, Challengers, Conclave, Emilia Perez, The Fire Inside, Gladiator 2, Horizon American Saga Chapter 1, Inside Out 2, Nosferatu, The Room Next Door, Sing Sing, The 6888, Wicked, The Wild Robot, and Young Woman in the Sea. Best original song, 89 songs were eligible, narrowed down to 15. Forbidden Road from Better Man. Winter Coat from Blitz. Compress Repress from Challengers. Never Too Late from Elton John, Never Too Late. El Mal and Mi Camino, both from Emilia Perez. Sick in the Head from Kneecap. Beyond from Moana 2. Tell Me It's You from Mufasa the Lion King. Piece by Piece from Piece by Piece. Like a Bird from Sing. The Journey from The 6888. Out of Oklahoma from Twisters. Kiss the Sky from The Wild Robot. And Harper and Will Go West from Will and Harper, which, fun fact, is sung by Kristen Wiig. I understand why Out of Oklahoma is there from Twisters. I'd rather it be Luke Combs. Ain't No Love in Oklahoma, but that's the popular choice. Best animated short film, 88 short films qualified, narrowed down to 15. Academy members from the animation branch and short films branch were invited to participate in the preliminary round of voting and must have met a minimum viewing requirement to be eligible to vote in the category. Members from both the branches are invited to opt in and participate and must view all 15 shortlisted films to vote, including Au Revoir, Mon Monde, A Bear Named Wojtek, Beautiful Men, Bottle George, A Crab in the Pool, In the Shadow of Cypress, Magic Candies, Maybe Elephants, Me, Origami, Percebes, The 21, Wonder to Wonder, The Wild-Tempered Clavier, and Yuck. Best live action short film, 180 short films qualified, narrowed down to 15, including Anuja, Clodagh, The Compatriot, Crust, Dovecote, Edge of Space, The Ice Cream Man, I'm Not a Robot, The Last Ranger, Alien, A Man Who Could Not Remain Silent, The Masterpiece, and Orange from Jaffa, Paris 70, and Room Taken. Best sound, all eligible members of the sound branch voted to determine the shortlist of nominees, and they'll be invited to view excerpts from each of the shortlisted films beginning January 9th through the 11th, including Alien Romulus, Blitz, A Complete Unknown, Deadpool and Wolverine, Dune Part 2, Emilia Perez, Gladiator 2, Joker, Folie à Deux, Wicked, and The Wild Robot. And then Best Visual Effects, shortlisted Alien Romulus, Better Man, Civil War, Deadpool and Wolverine, Dune Part 2, Gladiator 2, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, better be nominated, Mufasa the Lion King, Twisters, and Wicked. That is all I have for news apart from comics.
Moving on to anime, we got a poster for Jujutsu Kaisen Culling Game Arc. A trailer for Solo Leveling Season 2 was released. The season releases January 4th. Blue Exorcist, the Blue Knight Saga premieres January 4th, 2025. Ranma Half Remake has announced a second season. Link Click Bryden Arc Dongua premieres December 27th. Using superpowers to enter their clientele's photos one by one, Chang Zhaoxi and Lu Gong take their work seriously at Time Photo Studio, a small photography shop set in the backdrop of a modern metropolis. Each job can be full of danger, but nothing is more important than fulfilling every order, no matter the scale or peril involved. I'll be interested to see what that means, like they enter the photos. Like Shibuya Heart Hachi Season 2 premieres spring 2025. A teaser for Dan to Dan Season 2 is released. It premieres in July of 2025. Season 3 of Spy Family premieres October 2025. Hell's Paradise Season 2 premieres January 2026. Ramen Akaneko Season 2 has been announced. Upcoming anime film Me and Roboko revealed a new character inspired by Luffy from One Piece. It releases in Japan April 18th, 2025. 10-year-old Bondo has always dreamt of owning a cute robot maid. Their beautiful beautiful, sweet, and graceful servants. But when he finally gets his hands on one, she's not what he expected. Roboko is twice the size of Other Mage, twice as strong, and twice as weird. Something's off about this robot. Can Bondo and his friends figure out her secret? Look Back and Ultraman Rising were nominated for Annie Awards. Look Back was nominated for Best Feature Independent, and Ultraman Rising was nominated for Best Feature, Best Effects, Best Production Design, and Best Editorial. Magilumiere Magical Girls Incorporated, Season 2 has been announced. Hayakusho Kizoku, Season 3 has been announced. International theatrical releases for Attack on Titan, The Last Attack have been announced. I believe it is a movie that edits the last couple episodes together into a theatrical experience. February 6th for Australia and New Zealand, United States and Canada on February 10th, Finland, February 12th, Spain, February 13th, Denmark and the Netherlands, February 20th. February 21st, Norway and Sweden, Germany, February 25th, United Kingdom and Ireland, February 26th, France, March 1st, and Italy, March 3rd. B. Shoujo's figurine line, Arcanadia, is how I'm going to pronounce that, is receiving an anime adaptation. Bye Bye Earth Season 2 premieres in April 2025. Betrothed to My Sister's Ex premieres in July of 2025. With unmaintained red hair and shabby clothes, Marie, the Baron's daughter, has been treated like a servant all her life. Count Grando, the country's richest man who is said to be a difficult misogynist, falls in love with her at first sight. However, due to a misunderstanding, Count Granado proposes to her sister Anastasia, who looks like a princess instead of the ragged Marie. A very popular work from Become a Novelist, Marie's Cinderella story that began with a hero's misunderstanding. Summer Pocket premieres summer 2025. To help manage his recently deceased grandmother's effects, the protagonist, Takahara Hairi, travels to Torishirojima during his summer vacation. As he sets off the ferry boat, he spots a lone girl standing on the pier, a girl who simply gazes into the distance as her long hair flutters in the wind. He looks at the girl in utter bewilderment. Before he realizes it, she can no longer be found anywhere. Hairi finds himself starting to adjust to life on this island, surrounded by nature far lusher than anything he's ever come across back in the city. Time seems to flow by casually on this island. As it does, memories of something nostalgic keep coming back to him, memories of something he had long forgotten. Skip and Loafer Season 2 is in production. My Dress Up Darling Season 2 will release in 2025. Kowloon Generic Romance premieres in April of 2025. Welcome to Kowloon Walled City, a dystopian townscape where the people are brimming with nostalgia and where the past, present, and future converge. Amid the hidden emotions and extraordinary daily lives of the men and women working in its confines, a tale of romance begins to unfold for real estate agent Raiko Kujirai, one that feels familiar as Kowloon itself. Princession Orchestra premieres April 2025. The story is set in the magical kingdom of Alispia, a wonderland that has existed since ancient times and that is somehow connected to the Alispia channel video sharing website in the human world. When the Alispians discover a new threat known as Jamek, a trio of princesses step up to save the city with the power of music. Social media mascot Kalpen-chan is getting an anime adaptation. Even given the worthless appraiser class, I'm Actually the Strongest anime premieres in January 9th, 2025. Your Forma releases April 2025. And in an alternate 2023, the Your Forma, a miraculous smart thread technology initially developed to treat massive outbreak of viral illnesses, has become an integral part of daily life. But these convenient devices come with an invasive drawback. They record every sight, sound, and even emotion their users experience. For electronic investigator Ichika Haida, diving into people's memories via the Your Forma and hunting for evidence to solve the toughest crimes is all part of a day's work. The problem is she's so good at what she does that her assistants literally fry their brains trying to keep up with her. After putting one too many aides in the hospital, the top brass finally furnished Chica with a partner at her level, a brilliant yet cheeky android named Harold Lucroft. Does this unlikely duo have what it takes to resolve their mutual suspicions and avert a deadly technological infection from sweeping across the globe before it's too late? Bleach Thousand Year War Part 3 has announced an hour-long finale. An anime adaptation of My Awkward Senpai has been announced for 2025. Kanawa Senpai is considered many things, but smooth is definitely not one of them. When she meets Kamegawa, he's cute, a little nerdy, and easy to talk to. How will this awkward senpai be able to handle these new feelings? Campfire Cooking in Another World with My Absurd Skill, Season 2, premieres in 2025. Welcome to the Outcast Restaurant is receiving an anime adaptation in 2025. Dennis is one of the most popular members of the Silver Wing Battalion, the world's strongest party. So popular, in fact, that the party leader expels him from the group out of spite. Stripped of his home, Dennis decides to start a life anew, following his true calling. as a chef. His life as an adventurer might be over, but his new life as a cook is just beginning. He teams up with Atelier, a young girl who's been similarly exiled from her home, and opens up a restaurant for adventurers. He's finally able to live out his dream, and he'll need use of more than just his cooking skills to take care of his eclectic customers' problems. The Unwanted Undead Adventurer Season 2 is in production. Skeleton Knight in Another World Season 2 is in production. Sorayo Utility premieres January 3rd, 2025. The story of Sorayo Utility follows 3 young women who explore their love of golf. Minami, a beginner at the game who picks up golf in an effort to distinguish herself with a hobby. Haruka, a gifted golfer who excels at the sport. And Ayaka, a young lady who aims to become an influencer on social media. And that is my anime news for this week, but I do have some comics news returning just because some of these were cool enough to bring up. We got to look at the covers for issue 1 of Godzilla vs. the Fantastic Four. A third and final entry on the Deadpool Kills series of comics titled Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe One Last Time has been announced from writer Cullen Bunn and artist Dalibor Talajic. A first look was released for Spider-Man vs. Predator, written by Benjamin Percy and art by Marcelo Ferreira. A first look was released for the Sonic and DC crossover series from Ian Flynn and artist Adam Bryce Thomas. This was first teased way back with the Batman Anniversary Shadow as Batman animation. And then it was we got some still images of like the other characters as other their respective DC heroes, and now we're getting a official crossover. I don't know if this is, they say series. I bet it's going to be a mini series, like 12 issues or something. But it looks like Sonic and friends teaming up with the Justice League. I'm sure Eggman's going to team up with Lex Luthor or something.
Or Joker or something like that.
I don't know if he'd team up with Joker. That'd be you'd have to write that in a certain way.
Yeah.
On to movie comics news, right?
Yes. So we're going to start with Marvel this week. For Sony's Spider-Man universe, it was revealed, Sony was never prevented from having Spider-Man appear in any of the villain spin-off movies. They just chose not to use him. They also reportedly insist that Morbius was actually profitable. Kraven the Hunter, for the 6th week in a row, earned $44.7 million in this domestic opening day, not 40. One of the worst openings for a comic book movie ever, even below Madam Web, and it is tracking to become one of the few modern comic book movies to not pass $100 million worldwide. What If Season 3, for the 2nd week in a row, the episode titles were revealed for all 8 episodes, releasing daily starting on tomorrow, as the day of recording on the 22nd. What If the Hulk fought the Mech Avengers? What If Agatha went to Hollywood? What If the Red Guardian stopped the Winter Soldier? What If Howard the Duck got hitched? What If the Emergence destroyed the Earth? What If 1872? What If the Watcher disappeared? And What If? Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse for the 2nd week in a row will not release in 2025, but it had the directors Bob Paraschetti and Justin K. Thompson were attached to direct. New look at Thunderbolts. Daredevil Born Again for the 6th week in a row. New look at Daredevil and Kingpin. A new look at Charlie Cox and Deborah Ann Wool as Matt and Karen. Nova, it was announced the series is moving forward with Ed Bernero from Criminal Minds as showrunner. Black Panther 3 is officially moving forward at Marvel Studios. We got for the 5th week in a row, Captain America Brave New World got a new look at Harrison Ford's Red Hulk. It was revealed that Jeff the Land Shark may be coming to the MCU. And it was announced that Nate Moore is leaving Marvel Studios as an executive producer. He previously produced the Black Panther films, Eternals, and Captain America Brave New World. Has been a part of the studio since 2010. On the DC side, Creature Commandos for the 5th week in a row, episode 4 released. And we got a new look at Clayface, who I believe is probably going to be in episode 5. Episode 4, really good. The Batman Part 2 for the 2nd week in a row, Matt Reeves confirms he is finishing up the script right now, saying, quote, "We're going to be shooting next year." The Penguin for the 2nd week in a row, Matt Reeves revealed that they are now talking about making a season 2 potentially. And Clayface for the 2nd week in a row, being described as DC's version of The Fly. And now for the biggest piece, honestly, between DC and Marvel this week. We got the first poster revealed, I think, on Tuesday for Superman for the 6th week in a row, and the motion poster used a new version of John Williams' Superman score. And then we got the first trailer released of it, which included the first look at Lois Lane and the Daily Planet team, new look at David Cornsweet as Superman, first look at Lex Luthor, Hawk Girl, Green Lantern, Metamorpho, Mr. Terrific, and Crypto the Superdog, and a first look at David Cornsweet as Clark Kent.
Luthor is kind of an either or kind of thing. It depends on the incarnation. There was a show or something where they pronounced it as Luthor. Anyway,
something recent where I watched, but it's so good.
So good. Look, I was already excited. I know a lot of people are cautiously optimistic. I've been hurt before. We'll see how DC does.
Yeah.
But I legitimately have been excited for this. Like I'm, absolutely. And the trailer made me even more excited. What makes
Yeah.
me even more excited is my mom is very much a Christopher Reeve purist. Like that is the only Superman. The next best thing is Smallville because he's almost kind of written to be a Clark that grows up to be that version of Superman anyway.
Yeah.
She likes the more pure-hearted. Like she does not like Henry Cavill Superman at all. Like I like him okay. It's that the choices they made with his movies is what
Yeah.
But it is very dark. That's what I don't like about Man of Steel. It is very dark, and Superman has always been kind of like the bright spot in the DC universe. Like even when things get dark, Superman is still, unless they decide to make him evil like an Injustice or anything. But like he's usually like the hopeful character.
Oh yeah, and I saw someone online say this. And it was like a big company where it's like this trailer forces you to feel hope. I'm like, it's so good.
I mean, when
the
you have
guitar
James
riff of the
Gunn
score.
saying that he wrote this Superman to
When
wants
his
to
dad
see the
died.
goodness in man.
Yeah.
Like that is Superman. Superman believes in the good in people, and like that is kind of in the comics. It's like the core of like you have to do a lot for Superman to look at you and be like, I don't think there is any redeeming you. Like he wants to trust that you're going to be because he's supposed to be a
The nearly invincible kind of thing, and then the first thing
the
we
boy,
see of
like
him now,
we call him a Boy Scout. We're like, oh, let's try to be a Boy Scout. But like, no, like that's kind of what makes
optimistic.
Superman so appealing is he's such an optimist. Like you have your Batman fans, but Batman, even when Batman is no longer capable of being campy. So like when you think Batman, you're gonna think even as
Christian
Bale, even like Tim Burton's Batman, where it's like a little brooding, a little more like darker. Like when Superman, even when it gets dark, the character is still like, well,
sees the best.
He
Chooses
sees the
to see the
best
best.
in the scenario, and
I love that the first we see of him is like just beaten up bad.
Yeah.
I mean spitting out blood.
Crypto.
When Crypto just like launched on there, and then the way it was something about the sound effect of him like, and he grabbed the cape, and I'm like, oh, such a good boy. He's such a good boy.
Crypto being in it alone is just so exciting. The fact that the movie has stinking color, but you could have a movie have bright colors and also look realistic and not look like Technicolor or anything. Believe it or not.
Yeah, it looks so good.
It looks so good, and
so good. It's just the guitar version of the score.
You notice there's only 2 lines of dialogue in the whole trailer, and they've already got like most of the internet. Like, okay,
yeah,
you have your Zach's,
home,
like
take me home,
and the kid saying Superman.
I know.
Is the only 2 thing word. Lex looks awesome.
He does, and you can see the hatred in him, and it's so good. You can see somebody just like tightened his jaw clenched.
Because people I've talked to are like, do you know what like story arc is supposed to be based on? I'm like, well, multiple, but the big ones are Lex Luthor becomes, I think it's the right one. Lex Luthor becomes president, and then a bunch of superheroes are appointed as the United States official heroes.
Yeah.
And then Superman pushes against that because those superheroes start listening to orders more than they are listening to like what they think is best.
Which is probably going to be the team with like Guy Gardner and Hot Girl and Mr. Terrific. Which I'm going to say Mr. Terrific is like the leader of that team.
And it could be that they are a team that maybe they're appointed by Luthor Corps. Maybe Lex Luthor isn't president or something. But like usually when there's like a team of superheroes that they're good people, but they're opposing Superman, it's because they're following someone's orders that Superman's like, okay, I see the best in people, but even it's Lex. And so
it's kind of like Captain America.
So that's one of the
comparison,
storylines that's inspiring it. And then we don't know what the full plot of the movie is. We don't know. Lex, I'm guessing, is going to be the antagonist. And I'm trying to think of the All-Star Superman, and that might be the plot line of All-Star Superman. I can't remember, but like All-Star Superman also inspires it. Like just these very hopeful Superman stories, and then they're just involving other superheroes because it's supposed to establish that
it's
Superman is not. Superheroes already exist to the point that they can be government appointed.
James Gunn said it literally starts in the middle of the action.
So
it was just also something about just seeing like after you get like the whole home, take me home, and it's just the first thing he's like him rushing in to save the kid, and I'm like,
yeah,
I'm here. I'm here.
I'm so excited.
I will be seated.
I will absolutely be there. Probably this is probably going to have to be a movie that I set aside to go watch with my parents.
Oh yeah,
especially my mom.
Yeah,
because like
who knows? My dad might want to see it.
Anyway, all that to say, I'm so excited.
Yeah.
If we had to rate trailers, that is an absolutely 10 out of 10.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, if the next trailer you can give me can be right before the movie comes out. Like You don't have to
Yeah.
show me anything else.
Yeah.
I don't even want to know what the main plot is. Like, I have enough of the plot to be like, okay, superheroes are after Superman for some reason. Lex Luthor is definitely involved somehow, and the public is both turning against and standing up for Superman. And
we also got our first look at Wendell Pierce as Perry White, and the trailer passed 22.5 million views in the first 24 hours on DC's YouTube channel. And I saw something today that it is number 4 in the most views ever for a movie trailer. Behind, I know Spider-Man No Way Home is 1. Mm-hmm. I don't remember what the other 2. I think they're both like Avengers Endgame and like Infinity War. So good. And that is all my news we have for this week. In celebrity deaths, we have last week's. We missed one. David Weatherly, who was 85. He was Barrowman Butterbur.
I think that's how you're supposed to say that.
In Lord of the Rings.
In the Lord of the Rings film.
You had to say it 3 times.
Specifically, I think Fellowship of the Ring. I think that's the one he was in.
And then this week, Jill Jacobson was 70. She's from Falcon Crest and the New Gidget actress. Diane Delano was 67. Played Officer Barbara Szymanski on Northern Exposure. And voiceover work known for Ben 10, Superman the Animated Series, Teen Titans, amongst many others. David Murphy was 66, 90 Day Fiancé before the 90 Day star. And Ricky Henderson today passed away at the age of 65. He's baseball's Man of Steel, Steal. My sources this week were Deadline, Movie Insider, Variety, Empire, Screen Rant, People, Entertainment Weekly, Paris Match, comicbook.com, The Oscars, The Insider, The Playlist, WSJ, The Direct, and of course, Discussing Film. Where would I be without you?
I want to thank my sources for this week: IGN, Discussing Film, Crunchyroll, Games Radar, and official sites and socials. We are moving on to the last part of our Santa tier list. We are doing a double length for the tier list because this will be our last episode of the year. We will see you all at the new year. We just want to rest for the holidays, rest for a couple weekends.
A week off. Our first one this week.
So we have the Polar Express Santa. B. When he's on, he's enough of like a good Santa, but he's not in it a whole lot.
No,
we can't claim a whole lot out of him other than like I'm Santa and
yeah, it's really towards the end.
Miserable to Gumball Santa.
That's gonna be all on you. I only got to this part.
You've never seen the Miserable to Gumball Christmas episode?
I don't think so.
Okay, so just to give you a little rundown, they accidentally hit Santa with their car.
Of course.
But by the time they get to see who it is, they just think he's a homeless man. But the kids think he's Santa because he kind of looks like Santa. He doesn't look like that when he's in his homeless man form.
Yeah.
And so while Richard thinks he has to be the new Santa, and like the kids try to convince him that he is Santa or teach him how to be Santa, and then I can't remember what Nicole's doing, but there's a funny scene where. He's like not bad at all. Like, come on, kids, I'm just a homeless guy. I don't know. I don't remember anything.
Yeah.
And like, so, Gumball is like, I want this for Christmas. He goes, isn't that kind of selfish? And he's and Gumball starts throwing a fit, and like Anais asks for like a doll, and he's like, you kids just want so much stuff, and she starts throwing a fit, and Darwin's like, I want world peace. Well, that's a bit unrealistic. And then like they're all like just throwing fits, and he's like, so do I get my food now? And they're like, no, and he starts throwing a fit.
I'm hearing C tier.
He is kind of like, but when he's Santa, he's Santa for like maybe 1 minute of the whole movie. Or the whole.
Right.
I'll say C tier. Like he's funny
almost
when he's
D.
the homeless man, but we don't get to see him as Santa a whole lot. So we'll say C. He's
Mostly
nowhere
C.
near Killer Santa.
That's going to be like this is its own tier. Let's be honest.
We have the Santa Claus from Regular Show, also voiced by Ed Asner. I can't remember who voiced him.
Be all you.
And Gumball. This Santa takes a bullet and also fist fights at some point. He's like a kind of Guardians level Santa, but he's also like all about the presents and like like he's Santa Claus. Like he's a bit. We get to see more of him being Santa a little more than Guardians.
Yeah.
So I'd say maybe low B, high C.
Low B. It's about right after Polar Express.
He's not a Santa you expect because it is a lot focused more on him being like I'm beating this evil elf up and doing different things. But so we have the Simpsons Santa. Honestly, I can't remember a single time he's popped up like in the episode that I've seen where he's like enough of a plot point to where you could get like, I don't know, do we just put him in like the
I don't know tier?
Put him in We're putting a lot of them in C. We put him in C simply because I'm sure he's fine, but like he's probably mostly used for like gags and stuff. So,
Yeah,
like,
and memorability is a
next is Family Guy Santa, D. I'm not going to expound. Just put it
just
D.
D.
Or that's American Dad Santa. Absolutely D. Next is Family Guy Santa. They look a little similar, believe it or not.
Right.
Also D. I don't know that one.
Grandma got run over by a reindeer.
No, that is not Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer.
Go
That is Phineas and Ferb Santa. Put him in A.
A.
Pretty good Santa, voiced by Clancy Brown.
Ooh,
He
okay.
pops up in like the last 5 minutes, because it's about the kids saving Christmas.
Yeah.
But like, he's a pretty good Santa.
Yeah.
Like just for the little bit he shows up, like they do a good job of having, because like a lot of these other kids cartoons, when Santa shows up for just a little bit, he's usually like not the kind of Santa you expect.
Yeah.
That's pretty good solid Santa just for the little bit he's there.
go.
Next we have Santa from All of the Other Reindeer. It's been so long since I've watched it, but I remember enough of it to put him in B. Won't expound upon that.
Again, I have not seen that one.
Now we have Grandma Got Ran Over by a Reindeer Santa.
This is the one. Yeah. I haven't seen this
Dare
in
we
years,
put him in
dude.
D because he nearly kills somebody?
He killed an elderly woman.
I mean, he drank too much eggnog and just kind of. Wait, isn't the special because
DWD.
one of the deer gets like spooked and he can't control the deer?
I mean, still, he hit and run.
Yeah, it's a hit and run.
So he's a criminal.
And actually, it's not a hit and run because he turns back and grabs the body and takes her back to the North Pole. So it's
Oh, so it's
actually
a kidnapping.
It's worse than that. It's a kidnapping.
kidnapping.
It's a kidnapping, possible covering up a homicide. Like
Possible DWI.
yeah. So,
We're going to go D tier. We're going to go high D.
but he's also super nice. So C,
Low C.
low C.
We'll put it at low C. Below Simpsons.
Above, so like put him like right there. Yeah, right there,
here?
right between.
In between Rise of the Guardians and Nightmare Before Christmas.
Christmas. So I think we're gonna call that good because the rest of the Santas we absolutely don't know, not even enough to name, and we're running
long, I
long,
figured, yeah.
so I don't want to do too much more research. So
To recap, bear with us.
We got
S tier, Rankin Bass Santa, Marvel Santa, and then we got
Ernest Saves
Christmas Santa. And A tier, we have Klaus, Miracle on 34th Street.
Yeah, the Modern Miracle on 34th Street.
34th Street. We have the Santa Claus, Tim Allen. We have Phineas and Ferb Santa. B tier, we have Kurt Russell's Christmas Chronicles Santa. We have Santa Paws, such a good boy. We have the original Miracle on 34th Street Santa.
We got Tom Hanks Santa.
Tom Hanks Santa from Polar Express. And then we got regular show Santa and
All of the Other Reindeer Santa.
all the other reindeer Santa. In C tier, we have Ed Asner's Elf Santa. We have the Get Santa. We have Rise of the Guardians Santa. We have Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer Santa. Nightmare Before Christmas Santa. Amazing World of Gumball Santa. The Simpsons Santa. And then D tier, we have Futurama. Is that what you said?
Yeah, it's Evil Santa.
Evil Santa.
Robo Santa.
Robo Santa.
Robo Santa.
From Futurama. And then we have American Dad and Family Guy Santa. And then I don't know. I started watching these movies so many times where I'm like, I should I don't watch these, and I just never did.
We have the Fred Claus and
Arthur
Arthur Christmas Santas.
Yeah.
The I don't know. We wanted to put them up there because we knew who they were when we saw them, but it's been
Yeah.
so long. The rest of the Santas we didn't rank. We've never watched a single thing that they're in that I couldn't even tell you who they are by looking at them.
Yeah.
So
And that is our December tier list.
December tier list. There were so many other Santas we couldn't have included, but we just
Oh yeah. Next year.
next year. If
We'll do Reloaded.
we're Santa Reloaded. We might do something goofy next year
Yeah.
because we didn't do anything
We'll
goofy
do our
this year.
tournament one that we didn't do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So on that note, hope you enjoyed this kind of lengthier episode. Maybe make up for the fact that we're taking a little bit of a break for the holidays.
Yeah.
Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, do all those interactive things. Be sure to follow the podcast on most social medias at Mondays Are for Nerds. You can follow me, Tristan Stump, at Sir Stump Salat or Sir Stump Salat 17.
And follow me at Po the Panda 001. Is it bad that you have to list off the socials? I don't remember that. Anyway, we hope you have a happy holidays for all of you who celebrate.
And if you went and saw any of the movies that we mentioned, or the trailer that we talked about, be sure to let us know.
Hit us up. Or ideas for tier lists.
Yeah, ideas for tier. We're always taking ideas for tier lists.
Always taking ideas. We'll see you. We'll take a break, as we said. We'll see you.
We'll see you in
a week or two.
2025.
Yes. Have a happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays.
Happy Hanukkah. Happy Kwanzaa. Feliz Navidad.
That's just Christmas again.
It's just Merry Christmas. Feliz Navidad. Gotta
All
cover
right,
of our
before we make
bases.
this worse,
Yeah.
we'll see you guys later.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.